A lot of coaches and course creators come to me when they hit a plateau in their funnel or launch revenue. It's totally normal, but can feel like it's impossible to move past this stage without hiring a team, dumping a load of money on Facebook ads, or working twice as hard. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 ways you can increase your launch revenue without doing any of those things, so you can get yourself off the plateau and even double your sales. Hi, I'm Nikki Traylor, and I help coaches, course creators, and digital product owners make more money from their products and programs by selling more and retaining more customers. Stay tuned to discover 3 ways you can hit your next big launch or funnel revenue goal without burning out and without doubling your expenses. Before I show you how to double your launch revenue, I want to show you how to calculate your launch goals so you can see the impact of each method that I'm about to teach. So to figure out how much money you can make in your next launch, you need to know these 3 things. Number 1, the price of the offer you're selling. That one's easy. Number 2, the size of your current email list. And number 3 is your average launch conversion rate. If you don't have an average, I suggest using 1.5 or 2%. Then to calculate that, you need to look at the percentage of people from your audience who will buy. So for example, if you have an offer that's $1,000 and you have 3,000 people on your email list and your conversion rate is 2% of those 3,000 people is 60. And those 60 people would buy your offer. So your expected launch revenue would be $60,000. If you double any one of those things, either your conversion rate, your price of your offer, or your audience size, that means that your revenue could also double. I say could because it can never be guaranteed. External factors might impact your sales, but this should give you a rough guideline. If it was that simple though, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. So I'm going to explore when and why you should do each of these things, and then give you 3 practical ways you can actually double your launch revenue. Here's why simply doubling your prices isn't the answer. If you know you're chronically undercharging and your offer has been validated, as in you've consistently had paying customers, you could try increasing the price in increments. I'd never recommend going straight in at doubling your prices, or your existing audience will be unlikely to pay the new full price, but over time you could work towards this. That won't help you in your next launch though, as this could take some time. But there are ways to increase how much money you make per customer without doubling the price of your course. Adding in multiple offers at different stages of your funnel to suit different customers is one of the easiest ways to increase your revenue. You can add in offers at different points throughout the launch funnel or an evergreen funnel to double or nearly double your revenue. I'm going to walk you through it now. But a quick note on those offers: that they should all be related to the main offer you want to be selling. So say you're selling a course on weight loss, every single one of the offers within that funnel that we're going to add in should be related to that in some way. The ideal client for each of these offers should also be exactly the same. The first offer that I recommend you add in, this is really simple and a very low cost offer, a tripwire offer. And this would come into the stage of the funnel when someone signs up for your freebie or lead magnet. So this is long before you're even launching your main offer. A tripwire is typically a low ticket or heavily discounted offer that someone can purchase on the confirmation page after they download your freebie. You could typically make anywhere from $5 to $97 for a tripwire. The more no-brainer the price point, the better, because you want to get as many conversions as possible. This is great as it trains your audience to buy from you from a very early stage, from that first point of contact with your brand. But not only that, it's a really great way to show how much value you deliver in a low-cost product, and then builds that trust with them that your main offer will be just as great. The next place you can add another offer into your funnel is an order bump at the checkout. So when someone's buying your main offer, they have an option to tick a little box and add an additional offer to their cart. It should again be something that's an obvious yes to the person who should be landing on that checkout page, so make sure it's targeted to the same audience. It also really works well if it's something that just goes deeper into one small part of your offer. That could be something like an extra training or a one-to-one call so that they get more out of the program that they're buying from you. As an example, if you're selling a course on selling out your services on Instagram, the order bump could be a series of Canva graphic templates for Instagram posts that they can edit themselves and post live. This could bring you an additional $500 to $500 really easily. One thing I will say about all of these offers we're talking about now is that they should ideally be designed to overcome an objection that someone might have. So in the example about the Canva graphic templates, an objection that someone might have to posting on Instagram is that they don't know how to design nice looking posts. Well, you're giving them a template that helps them easily edit it. Within 5 minutes, they can have a post ready to go that looks like it's been done by a designer. The next offer I would consider adding into your funnel is an upsell. This would be available to people after they purchase your main product and or the order bump at the checkout. It works similarly to a tripwire, where your checkout page redirects to another page presenting this upsell offer. This could be something that gives people additional support or takes that outcome to that next level. Things like one-to-one support and additional courses work really well here. This could easily add another $200 to $2,000 to your revenue if you choose the right offer. It's also worth noting that you can sell this more strategically later on after the purchase. So as they dive through your main offer, for example, after 1 month, you could start sending automated emails to sell them into this upsell offer again. The final offer that I would consider adding into your funnel is a downsell. So this would be an offer that's sent only to the people who did not purchase your main offer during that launch or throughout your funnel. This would look like selling a smaller, lower priced offer a few days after your main launch to those people, but still related to the offer you were trying to sell. Things that work really well are selling a DIY version of a group program, so in just course format without any live elements, selling individual modules from a course, or selling templates and other resources that you would typically include in another program. See how just those 4 things can bring an additional $3,000 per customer and also lead to additional sales from people who may not have bought otherwise. It's a really smart way to get more out of every launch. When you're putting that much effort into something, you're getting more mileage out of every person who goes through it. One of the other ways we mentioned you could double your sales in your launch is doubling your audience size. And I just want to make a note and say I wouldn't recommend doing that just yet. Doubling your audience is an obvious way to double your launch sales, but it can take a long time or a lot of money, depending on whether you use organic or paid strategies. And it's unlikely, unless you have a healthy ad budget or a really small list, that you'll be able to double it before your next launch, or very quickly at all. However, what I'm going to show you how to do in the next section will make you excited to wait. Because by the time I'm through with you, you'll have already doubled your revenue, and then you can start adding more people to your launch or funnel and your audience, and that will increase your sales like crazy. But you'll want to have everything set up before you do so you don't lose out on those sales. If you imagine your launch or funnel like a bucket, right now your bucket will have leaks in it and are slowly trickling sales away. I'm going to show you how to plug those leaks first so you can make more money from every single subscriber. But first, if you want more tips for making money online, hit the subscribe button. Okay, so I now want to go back to the start and talk a little bit about those 3 ways I said that you could double your revenue easily. So using the example that we had before, where we had $60,000 coming in, a list of 3,000 people, a $1,000 offer, and a 2% conversion rate. I want to show you what happens when you increase that conversion rate, even just by 1%. So if we tweak that conversion rate and get it up to 3%, that means that 90 people would buy from you, and you haven't done anything to change your audience, and you haven't changed the price of your offer. But you could be bringing in $90,000 versus $60,000. See why increasing your conversion rate is so awesome? Getting more people to buy from you is a lot faster and easier than doubling your audience, so that's why it's my first port of call when it comes to optimizing launches and funnels. We probably won't double your sales with this alone, but it will start you off. So how do you increase your conversion rate? Well, before you change anything, you need to know what's already working and what can easily be improved. You need to know your conversion rate at every point of the funnel and not just your overall conversion rate. So you need to look at data from your last launch or from your funnel and look for those easy wins. Here's a list of data that you'll need to gather. Email click-through rates from every email sent, from the moment someone signs up to your lead magnet, to your webinar or challenge if you did one, to the final cart closed email. You'll also need email open rates for all of those emails and the conversion rates for every one of those emails. Also, if you're posting on social media to promote your launch or to promote your funnel, then you'll also need to know your click-through rates for each and every post that you put out. If you're using a tool like ManyChat to automate DMs following a post on social media, then you'll also want to know how many people engaged with each of those posts and how many people converted in your ManyChat funnel. You'll also need to know your sales page conversion rates, your checkout page conversion rate, your audience size, your audience growth since your last launch if relevant. And then if you use paid traffic, you'll also need to know your return on ad spend and your cost per lead. If you run a webinar or challenge, then you'll also need to know show-up rates, conversion rates, sign-up rates, and replay watch rates. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but once you've gathered that data, I recommend you continue to add to it every time you launch or every month if you have an evergreen funnel, so that you can keep an eye on this stuff. It's gonna honestly change the game for you and how much money you can bring in the future. So that you don't have to rewind the video, I also have a free guide with all of those things listed out, which you can download for free below. Once it's in a table, in a spreadsheet, and you can really easily see which numbers are lower than others, you can start comparing them and looking at elements that may need improving. I go through and highlight my spreadsheet: red for anything that looks a lot lower than anything else, orange for anything that could be better but isn't too bad, and green for anything that looks healthy. Start working through changing the red ones first, and if you have time, you can look at the orange ones too. Now you know where the leaks are, how do you know what needs changing? And it really depends on what the asset is that you're looking at. So for emails, I would look at the following. Low open rates means I would start testing new subject lines. And low click-through rates means I'd start by testing different calls to action within the emails that are driving traffic to the sales page. Low conversion rates, i.e. sales or signups to webinars or calls booked, I would then start looking at the overall angles and messaging to see if it was really landing with my target audience. For social media posts, this could be related to the captions or any graphics you're using, so analyze the best performing ones and see what they have in common, then try to replicate that moving forwards. When it comes to sales pages, there are so many things to look at. I have a whole video dedicated to increasing conversion rates on your sales pages, which I'll link below. I recommend checking that out after you finish this video. If you're doing a webinar or a challenge as well for your launch or as part of your funnel, you'll want to look at things like low sign-up rates. If you have low sign-up rates, you may need to test stronger titles or simply talk about it more. Did you send enough emails? Did you post on social media enough? Or did your ads even get seen by enough people or the right people? If you had low show-up rates, did you send enough reminders? Or did you offer any bonuses for people showing up live, and did you talk about those enough? Or did you even host at a time your audience was unavailable? These are all things you need to consider when looking at your webinar. And then when it comes to the people who showed up to the webinar, how many sales did you make? If your conversion rates feel a little low on a webinar, make sure your pitch was clear and compelling. Did you shift enough beliefs and objections throughout your content? Did you present confidently and keep your audience's attention until the end? Another question I'd ask is, did you demonstrate how exactly your offer could help them with a tangible outcome? All of these things will help you optimize your webinar for even more conversions the next time you run it. And remember, this is just all an experiment, so please try again, iterate on what you've already done, and you'll start seeing bigger and better results every single time. If you're using ads, I would say the results really depend on whether your ads are for your lead magnet, for your webinar, or to sell your offer directly. But I would recommend checking with an ad expert for the latest benchmarks in your industry, as it can vary wildly, and I know it changes very frequently. I'll put some links to people I recommend checking out for Facebook and Instagram ad information down in the links below. Now, I know you're probably thinking this sounds like a lot of work, and it can be, but honestly, you might not have that many things that you need to improve. Sometimes one big tweak can make the biggest difference to your revenue and your overall conversion rates. For example, if you can increase your sales page conversion rate by just 0.5%, that could result in so many sales, as long as you have enough traffic going to the page. It's these things that we need to be thinking about. Getting more eyeballs on your offer and increasing that conversion rate can make such a big difference. And if you're not losing out on that 30K in revenue in your next launch, put in the effort and you'll reap rewards. Honestly, it's going to feel amazing. If you do want to go through this process, I really recommend breaking it down into manageable chunks. Start with your sales page so you can really nail your messaging and increase those conversion rates first, and then start chipping away at your emails, your webinar, and finally your ads. Block out time each week to chip away at it, and you'll be relaunching in no time and bringing in more money without spending more or paying for more ads. If you're ready to double your launch sales, you'll love my video on the 5 steps to grow your launches to 7 figures. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more launch strategies that you can apply in your business. Take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.